Hello everyone, this is Lizbeth Stahl, Cottage Caboodle. I am excited to be sharing with you today. I'm going to try and get everything up and going, but welcome until I can see the screen. I can't see who's coming in, so just come on in, let me know you're here. There you go. It's been a busy weekend, so I've got a super messy painting space, but you guys have never seen that, have you? I was trying to get a head start to get some things prepped and stuff, so come on in, tell me you're here. I'm going to try and get my comments to come up, and well, we'll see how it goes. So I hope that you're having a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. I am excited to share with you some of the things that that I've got figured out for you. And as you know, if you've been watching, I'm stuck in a patriotic thing right now. So let me see here if I can. It's not letting me see comments, and that would be a real bummer. I would hate that. I'm trying, you guys. I'm trying. So far, I see that 11 people have commented, and I can't see a thing. So, maybe Mr. Stoll will bring me my phone that's plugged in the living room. Otherwise, I'm just going to get started. I'm sorry I don't have comments. We'll work on it and see what we can do. So, there you have it. Am I frozen? Oh, I hope not. Hold on. Are we there? Are we there? Are we there? Are we there? I think we are. Hopefully. So, I'm going to keep rolling here just to see if I am. It looks like I'm frozen. Darn. Well, I'm going to keep going just in case it's sometimes it's just me. So, welcome! Technology, don't you love it? I've got this board. This is one that I've had for a while, and not that I've had for a while, it's not like it's left over or anything, but I have stocked it for a while because I like it so much. So this is going to be our background, and we're going to do a cute little piece that has all of these things, parts and pieces with it too. I've given these each one coat, but I haven't finished. So I'm going to finish giving these a little coat and tell you about what we're going to be doing. And could you see me?
Just now, yeah.
Okay, you could. All right, so it's a good thing I'm keeping that little part going because it sounds like I am on. Sorry, you guys, let me get this straightened away. Oh my goodness, there we go. Perfect. Maybe I can see comments now, so hopefully. Yes, yay. Okay, thank you, you guys. I'm sorry, I could not see comments, so I didn't know if I appreciate all your comments saying I was okay, but I couldn't see them, so now I can see them. I'm good. Phew! All right, and what's funny is the camera that I am using to monitor I'm totally frozen. So anyway, I guess it's only the one that is working is the one that's important, right? Okay, phew, that was crisis averted. I'm glad. So I just want to give these a second coat. These are just little pennants. They probably look familiar because they were that spring banner. Remember, it said spring on one side, and then you flipped it over and it said Easter. Somehow I have a lot of extras. I must have ordered some more and not realized it or something. But I was trying to think, there's got to be something cute that we can do for 4th of July, patriotic with those. And I think I've got something figured out that's pretty cute. So we're gonna do that. But I love these pennants. I love the idea of pennants. They just feel really Americana to me. So, hello everyone. I'm sorry I didn't get to see you as you were coming in. I appreciate you being here, and I hope you're having a great Sunday. We are just trying to get caught up on a couple things. So, it's a house day type thing. And after my big adventure yesterday. Okay, so this was deep burgundy that I put on all of these, and these will be the background for this one, okay? These are Stormy, so we're going to give those another little coat of Stormy, and let me get to that. Phew, I'm sweating. I'm glad that that didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen. Okay, then I'm going to put, this is Stormy, like I said, and I'm just going to give that another coat. Now, you could do this in a lot of different ways. If you wanted to do it with napkins or fabric, if you wanted to, you know, do a different theme than patriotic, you could do that. And so it's all up to you. Oh, I look forward to seeing you at OKC. It will be here before we know it, for sure. Before we know it, it's always a fun time. Always a fun time. I love seeing everybody. And I love the theme this year is Flower Power. So I love that. I think that's really super fun. So we've been working on that. And hi, Wendy. This Stormy is a lot like Sapphire. So if you have Sapphire, you can use that in the place of Stormy. And, you know, as any of the reds will work too. I'm starting in the middle of these boards and then going towards the outside edge because I don't want that peanut butter jar effect where I scrape it on the side and get those runs down the sides of these pieces. So we've got Stormy on there. And then I am going to do the stars in bleach sand. Bleach sand is going to be the stars, and we're going to get a little bit of that out. And I thought what I would do, we'll have to decide what we want to do with the pattern and stuff, but well, this isn't going to work. We're going to grab this almondine because I do not have another bottle of, I thought I did, bleach sand out. I've got another bottle, I just don't have it out. So we're going to use almondine, which is super close. Almondine, buttermilk, bleach sand. You can use a lot of those just kind of interchangeably almost. I've got blue flicked on this, and that's okay. Ooh, now I've got white on my red, but that's going to be covered, but still, it's going to drive me crazy. So I probably should move these so I don't do it again. How about that? How about that? So, woohoo! Look who you caught online. Yes. You're funny. You're funny. Where did I get the flags and stars? I have the flags and stars. And if you like the flags and stars, they will be a kit tonight. My plan is to do this again. I will be doing it again on Tuesday on Craft Round the Clock. And then I will post the video on the Caboodle Doodles page so that you can, there won't be a pattern for this per se because there's really not, when you see what we're doing, there's really not a pattern necessary because of what we're doing. It's not hard, but that will be on the Caboodle Doodles page. And again, the way I do my videos, they don't disappear after 30 days. So, so that's a good thing. That is a good thing. Hi, Colleen. So, these stars might look familiar to you because they were the ones that I used on a lot of the angels and things. And the company, I don't like this side, I want this side. The company that I buy these from, they no longer cut these. And so I don't know why, but I bought up a ton of them before they ran out. And so I have a supply, but once these are gone, we're going to have them cut somewhere else or something. So, but just a little base coat of like an off-white on here. I started to use bleach sand, but I ran out in my bottle. This is almandine. So far we've used the red is deep burgundy, the blue is stormy, and this white is almandine. So, but you know, like I said, this could be any off-white. I just wouldn't, unless you like, a lot of people like true red, true white, and then, you know, a true blue color, and that's fine. So you could do it that way too. Or if you are someone who really likes the vintage look, you could do them, you know, even with antique white. I'll show you what the antique white looks like in just a second, because that's what my background board is right now. Oh, I didn't wash out my brush very well. We are just cooking here, cooking right along. Where do I save my videos? I'm not sure. I upload my videos, and so they will be on my site. It's only the live videos that get taken down after 30 days. So mine are done either in Zoom or on Switcher Studio, and then I upload them. So they are not lost. So that's a good thing. So I think that's what you're asking. I think that's what you're asking. So, and so I have them saved offline in 3 different spots. So, so I don't lose them. Those are, you know, that's my livelihood. So, I tried to make sure that I had them no matter what. So, hello, Karina. I'm going to take a little bit more of this. I splattered some of the white on here. And, I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's just I'm kind of fussy that way. So I'm going to take that off. There we go. So now we're ready to do the other part of the background. And I'm going to do a wood grain, but I wanted it to be kind of an off-white wood grain. And so a real kind of worn type wood grain. So I'm going to grab a little chip brush. I base coated the backboard with, with antique white. Hold on, I'm just having there we go. And so I've got antique white right over here. And it's just, I like this color because it is kind of a vintage looking color. And some people don't like that, so you could do any number of colors as a background, you know, and just make yourself happy. You don't have to have it just because I used it doesn't mean it's the best color for you, maybe. So I'm going to get out just a little more almandine, and then I want out a little bit of white, but I also want to get out a dark brown. So let me see what I've got over here, and we'll get out some dark brown. Let me see. Soft black will work. Or what I really wanted was traditional burnt umber, and here it is. So I'm getting out traditional burnt umber, and I'm going to put a little of that on my palette. So just, I don't need too much. I'm going to set that right there. And then I've got this chip brush out. I've also got some that I've trimmed up and done things with that you've seen me doing, you know, faux finishes with and stuff, but this will work fine for this. I'm going to get just the little tips of the brush dampened, and then I'm just going to tap into that traditional burnt umber just to get some of that kind of washy on there. Then I'm going to tap it on my paper towel because I want to get the extra juice out of there. I don't want it to be too juicy. Then I'm going to start at one side or the other. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to get this out of the way. And then I'm just going to start with a real light hand because I want this to look like kind of barn board or, you know, something like that. And I'm just using the tips of the brush and putting some pressure on and then lifting as I go. So I'll let that dry and see how I like it. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now when my brush quits dragging it, like it was really dragging it over here, I'm going to just tip the corner of the brush in the water. This brush has not been in the water more than oh gosh, about 1/4 of an inch. It's not, the whole thing isn't wet. I want to really be able to control the water and not have to worry too much about, you know, getting too much water on there. So now I'm going to go over here and try, I want a little more there. And once I've got the edges done, then I can go back and sweep through that center just a little bit. I don't want that too heavy. Sometimes, well, in this case, we're going to do a little bit of lettering on it, and I don't want it to be hidden. So I'm going to rinse out this brush, put it over here, and then I'm going to get this dry. So with my heat tool, I'm going to keep that puppy moving. Hello, Lisa Bimber from Hershey. So on this backboard, we've got antique white, and we also have traditional burnt umber. You could use regular burnt umber. You could use asphaltum. You could use soft black. You could use black if you wanted. But we want this to be nice and dry. I'm going to show you a different way than using this brush that you can do this. It's not everybody's cup of tea, and I get that, but I want to show you different things sometimes so that you can make your own choices and go with what your preferences are. You know, maybe you like this look and you want it a little, you know, grungier or chippier. So I'm going to show you a way to do that. Yes, it does have grooves in it. This board has 4 sections, and if I run out of the 4 section, it doesn't matter if we have the 4 or the 3. It also comes in a 3-section version. So I have some 3 sections, so rather than make you wait, I would send you the 3 section. It's exactly the same size. The only difference is it has 2 grooves instead of 3, so that it's 3 sections instead of 4. And for what we're doing, it's not going to affect it. So thanks for asking that. But yeah, they are grooves. They are real in for true grooves. So one of the things too, that's nice that you mentioned that, because what you can do is take a little more of that dark brown, if you wanted, just real washy, and go down in that groove. So you can see how washy it is because I flicked paint onto my table. But just to kind of really make good use of the fact that those are real grooves, and you can highlight the fact that they are shaded there. So that shouldn't take too long to dry. But yeah, they are grooves. Technology gets me all kinds of sideways trying to, goodness sakes, it always wants to throw me for a loop. Always. So, and you guys are trying to help me, and I can't see. Okay, but I'm glad that my phone is working to see your comments and stuff. So this looks like it's pretty well dry, well, all except for up here. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using a palette knife and some paint, and we're going to be giving this a little bit of an effect of being old barnwood, okay, old chippy painty wood that's, you know, not necessarily barnwood, I guess. So I'm going to use this palette knife. It doesn't really matter. Some people use even a wood block, okay? So the idea is I'm going to load paint on my palette knife. Now, not in the traditional sense, you guys, not in the traditional sense at all. I'm going to use that paint on the back side of this palette knife. And I'm just going to, you remember, you commit that to the board, right? I'm going to start though a little ways in, and then I'm just going to smear it. and it just gives it a little bit of a kind of a chipped up look. I'll just grab a little more. But I think it's kind of a fun look. You have to wait till you see it all done. And, you know, some people, you know, it's kind of that whole, like the holy jeans, right? Why would I buy jeans that are holy? Well, why would I paint something and not want it to look new and pristine and pretty? So this is just to give you choices. Remember, when I'm doing painting in front of you, what I want to do is give you some ideas, inspire you maybe to try something new or different. Put it in your toolbox. If you don't want to use it this time, you can use it next time or the time after that or whatever. But that way you have choices. So, I'm sure a lot of you have heard me say it, but my dad used to say, well, not everybody likes chocolate and vanilla. That's why Baskin and Robbins is still in business. So, you know, not everybody likes it perfectly perfect. So if you are someone who doesn't like it perfectly perfect, then this is your kind of a thing. But I do think it looks really, really cool with that little bit of texture to it. And so this again is almandine. My plan was to use bleach sand, but my bottle was empty on the table and I didn't want to hunt for it while you're waiting for me. So this is almandine, and then I'm going to go over it real lightly with a little bit of white. And it just starts to look like an old, you know, cabinet or an old piece of wood that's been cast off. And so I think it's kind of fun. And then some of those little cracks and crevices that I painted on there are showing, and I like that look too. So, but this is just one way of doing this. Now, I could do it with a brush and just skip it over, but it has a little bit different look to it. It doesn't go on quite as chunky, you know. So I think this is kind of a different kind of a look. And it feels awkward because I've never used a paint or a palette knife this way. I guess I shouldn't be saying, they want you to say tool. Too many things to remember. Okay, so I've got that kind of just taken care of about the way I want it before I put on just a skosh. I don't want to put on as much of this, but I do want to have on just a little bit of some white. But it really starts looking textured, even though this is a new piece of wood. And you know, this is from Pinecraft, so you guys know the quality of the wood from Pinecraft. It is certainly not chippy like this or have a lot of grainy texture or anything, but it really makes it look like it is an old piece of wood. And it's kind of a no-fail thing. If you get it on real thick, it's okay. If you get it on, you know, real speckly, I like that too. It's just kind of a, you know, you want some variation in that color. I'm going to go up here and do a little bit more. Now, you could also do this with a gesso or a chalk paint, and it would leave a lot more texture on here. Did I get some of the gorgeous flowers? No, I did not yesterday, but weren't they pretty? That's my favorite part of that particular farmer's market is the flowers. Oh, my stars. And there's a lot of flowers right now because we don't have a lot of vegetables and stuff coming in locally. But that farmer's market, you guys, is, if you didn't see my pictures and stuff, I posted that I went to the Great Junk Hunt, and I also went to the Puyallup Farmer's Market. And the Puyallup Farmer's Market is a full city block, and it's just huge and bustling and live music, and it's, I think, the biggest one that I know of in our area. So that's where I'm going to quit with this for now. And it just is kind of it's looking like an old piece of cabinetry or something. And you just want it to be kind of grungy and goofy, and there it is. Okay, I want to get this all cleaned up. And we'll let that dry. It will take a little bit because if you look real careful, you can see where there's some standing paint, and it's thicker. Plus, my edges I'm going to have to go over because I think you can see that it's going to, it's got some little drippies and stuff. Nope, you can't see. Sorry, the delay has got me. Plus, my camera's in a little bit wonky spot. There we go. What is going on here? So the delay is getting me, you guys. I'm going to try that. Okay, so we've got everything done on that. So now we need to take care of our little parts and pieces. I want to put this over to the side though, because I don't want to get into it with a sleeve or a piece or a part or anything. So we're going to set that right there on some other wood pieces, and hopefully it is going to stay. Oh my goodness. I've been trying to finish up too many things. So now we've got our little stars. We've got our little stars and our little pennants. So there's those. And we've got some work to do on our pennants and our stars. Not a lot, but some. And what I wanted to do on these little guys is some stripes. And I thought they'd be cute with red stripes on them. So I was going to use that deep burgundy. And I'm going to need a little more. There we go. And I'm going to get some water in my brush. And I'm just going to start doing some stripes here. I'm going to start in the middle though. And because I've got kind of a, a rustic feel in this, it's okay. It's okay if I must have water on my ferrule. Oh gosh, don't you hate it when that happens? Let's get that taken care of. And then I can touch it up. There we go. We're going to let that dry, and then we'll be okay. So then I'll come over here, and just some really kind of fun, no stress kinds of stripes. And I think I can do this one too. So just like that. It's looking cute though. I love those little stripes. You could stencil if you wanted. If you wanted to make these a little fancier, you could. We're going to do a couple, oops. I apparently can't talk and do stripes, you guys. But I don't mind if they're a little bit crookedy. A little bit wonky. So there we go with that one. We're going to set that off to the side. Now you can also take buttons, would be cute on this. Any kind of rag ties or anything like that would be cute. Rusty wire, all that stuff would be really fun to add to these. And like I said before, if you wanted to, you could definitely do these in, a very true red, true white, and true blue. I'm going to turn, and I like both, honestly. It doesn't matter to me whether it's which color palette it is. I like it. I like it. I like all Americana, it seems like. So there we go. There we go. 2 of them done. And then we've got one more here. You could do these with checks. You could do them, you know, the possibilities are really endless. But like I said, if you had some fabric or napkins, you could decoupage. Remember, you can decoupage with multi-purpose sealer and use it just like you would Mod Podge. Or there's decoupage made by DecoArt that's basically Mod Podge. Or you can use Mod Podge. You can also use school glue and water if you wanted to decoupage on it. Buttons, old buttons, sometimes they look like almost the military buttons. Well, some, I suppose, in those jars you could find with military buttons, but you could add those to them too, twine, any of that. So I'm going to set that off to the side to dry, or just rotate here a little bit. And I want to grab, I didn't grab my stencil I wanted to use. Now this is a stencil, any star stencil will work. But this is one that I got that I think is kind of fun because it's got all different sizes in it. And it was, I don't remember where I got it or who gave it. It was a free, it was like buy something and then you got this free. So what I thought I would do is use this, and I know only the edges are going to show really on here. So what I wanted to do is kind of be mindful of that as I look for spots on this stencil so that I know that some of those little ones are going to show up really well on those edges, and it will look like stars then. So I'm going to find a little spot that I like, and then I'm going to get one of the Lori Speltz stencil brushes. And let me see here. Do I just have, I must have washed some, and oh no, here's one. Do I just have the big Mamma Jammas? Hi Sandy. Sorry, I wasn't looking up. And I'm going to grab a little more white. Normally I would prefer that almondy, I guess, well, bleach sand, but I'm going to get out the little bit of almondine because I'm out of it, and I'm going to just brush mix it a little bit so I can dirty up that white, but still have it a little bit lighter than plain almondine. Hula back and forth, then dry spot on a paper towel, which on this table right now is an unknown commodity. So let me grab, there we go. Now I can just pounce. And I don't want this real heavy-handed. I want it more, just a hint, you know. It's not going to show that much, but I always do the whole thing because I don't know exactly where it will and won't show, because we've got another layer to put on there. But I'm going to hold this down, I'm going to give it a little peekaboo, and that's about right. So I like that. I like that. And then I'm going to throw a brush on the ground. Okay, let's go back to here. We know that this one works pretty good. There we go. Let's go down here. Okay. And I don't usually try to get them, like if I'm doing something like this, I'm not going to stencil each piece maybe exactly the same. And the reason being is that when you do that, you're setting yourself up, because if you don't get them in the exact place that you want, you know, it looks off. But when you purposefully make it look like it's off, then it looks like you intended to do it, and it's fine. The other thing that would be really cute on here, oh, I wish I would have thought of this earlier, would be like a bandana. A bandana would be really cute to use to cover up, to cover one of the layers of it. I think that would be a lot of fun. Okay, and then we'll go over this. And we'll scoot the stencil because we're hurrying. And I don't really even need to hurry. It's always that beat the clock thing though, you know, when you've got so much time. But we're going to have, I think, more than enough time. Okay, so if you didn't hear about these will be for sale tonight in the online market spot by Crafters and Creatives, right where you're at right this minute. And I will have these for sale. I am also going to be doing this kit on Tuesday on the Craft Around the Clock. And then I'm going to post the video on the Caboodle Doodles page, my Caboodle Doodles page. That's free. It's open. You don't have to, you know, jump through hoops to get in or anything. And then you can do this as, you know, when you want. It will be, the recording will be up there in the files and on the Caboodle Doodles page. I had a little bit of a shadow there and I don't want it to show, so I just touched it up is all. And these we need to let dry. Sometimes I just like to get those pieces warm and then they will take care of themselves, you know, and they'll get a lot, they'll dry faster when they're warm. So now we've got some, if we want to, what we can do, and I do want to do it because I want to tie in the colors. So I use the lighter white plus almondine to do the in-between lines, or to do the stars, sorry, good grief, to do the stars. So I want these look a lot different now than the stars. So I want them to be closer. They don't have to be matchy-matchy, but I want it to be a little closer to what I had intended. You guys, this is not fun. Now I have a red thing right there. There we go. We'll let this dry. We'll let that dry. I must have bumped it or something. Something happened. Doesn't matter. So I've got this mix now in my brush, and and I'm gonna just take it down from the top, just parts of those stripes, just to give it a little bit of a highlight almost. So it's almost a dry brush. Well, it's not almost. It is a dry brush with this brush going down. And then I can also bring it from the bottom up. And it just gives it a little more character, a little more color variation. You know, this isn't a fussy piece, but I want it to look nice. I want it to look like I cared about it. So we'll just pull a little bit of that lighter color in between on those light stripes. If I miss saying hello to you, hello, hello, I'm glad you're here. And if you're watching me for the first time, I'm Lizbeth Stull. I have Cottage Caboodle, and I love to paint and help others with their painting. And just to kind of grunge it up a little bit, just a little bit, not, you know, super a lot. I just want it to look vintage, I guess is a better word. And I'm just going in between. So if you were to, when you see the kit tonight, what the kit includes is the back board that we've already painted. It includes all 3 stars, all 3 of the back pieces of the pennant, all 3 of the front pieces of the pennant. It will also come with a beaded hanger and a few strips of muslin so that you can make a messy bow. If you want buttons or any kind of embellishment like that, that will be your responsibility to choose those on your own. and you know, rusty stars you could put on here. There's just a whole number of things that you could do to make these, you know, your own or personalize it some. And I was intending, if you saw me do the special event, not this past Friday, but the Friday before on Craft Round the Clock, I did a really cute sign on a bucket, and several people emailed me and asked me if I was going to be offering that kit. And I said I could do that. Well, I have unfortunately changed my mind, because I was going to sand these, but it's not showing very much. So I don't want to do something that's not really worth my time, but we're going to do a little bit, and then we'll put a little bit of antiquing on it. But the reason that I changed my mind is because I used 3 sets of my birds and the blossoms. I also used a wood piece from Pinecraft. And what else did I use? Oh, another piece out of another set. I mean, I used, the kit for it would probably be $30. Maybe a little bit more. And I thought that's too much for a little sign that hangs on a bucket. And so I know that, you know, if you still feel really strong about it, you could do that. But this one would also be cute hanging on a bucket. And so if you are going, what in the world is she talking about? I will have the bucket piece tonight so that you can see it and see what I'm talking about. But this is kind of my apology for not having that, because I know that when you want something, you want something. But you guys, what it would cost is not, it's really not worth it. This is a better value, and honestly would look, it's going to look just as cute. It won't have the little birdies on it, but you know, there you go. I am going to sand these edges just slightly. It just kind of gives it a more antique look, and so let me show you why I like that. So if you look at it with this, you can see that there's the little edge showing, right? And it just kind of sets it off. It's not real noticeable, but it sets it off. Whereas this, it looks brand new. So if you like that brand new look, that's fine, but that's what you're going to get. And then I kind of like it when it's a little bit experienced, you know, has a little bit of time under its belt. So my comments are wonky, you guys. I'm getting, so far, Lisa Bimber has come in probably 422 times. It just keeps saying that Lisa Bimber's here, Lisa Bimber's watching. So just know, if I don't say something to you, it's not because I'm ignoring you, it's because I can't see it. And I'm going to give these a little bit of a sand. And let's get this one. If you don't have one of these little, these are called Gator sanders. They have the generic versions of them too at places like Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart. They have them on Amazon, any of those places. They are really nice, especially if you've got hand issues and holding something like just a piece of sandpaper or some of the sanding blocks is a little bit tricky for you. It is for me, and so this has made a big difference. So I'm going to just set these off to the side, and what I'd like to do with these guys is I would like to give them a little bit of warming around the edges. I'm going to get some of my antiquing wax out, and I need my brush. There it is. Now, I don't wash out my antiquing wax brush. All I do is hit it with my hairdryer just to warm it up a little bit. And it makes it pliable again. Isn't that funny? Oh, now I should have complained about it earlier, because now I see Janet. Hi, Janet. Hi, Brenda. And now I can see your comment, Lisa. Isn't that funny? I don't know. I don't know. So I'm going to go into this wax. The one I use, now, you know, again, this isn't for everyone. I use the Amy Howard At Home Dark Antique Wax. I know that's probably backwards to you, but all you do is you put a little bit on all of the edges. Just like that. And then you take something that's not wet and you just, if I used a softer brush, it would kind of go on a little bit softer, but I kind of like that stiffer brush. And you can just do the edges, you can do the whole thing, you can give it more than one coat. Usually I let it sit there for a little bit longer, but you can see it just warms it up a skosh. It's not anything that's real super noticeable, and I'm not going to take the time to do all of them because you don't need to. You've had to watch some base coating and stuff. That's above and beyond. You can, Bonnie, but I never do because I just don't. Especially if it's something like this that's real vintagey looking. I want it. I don't care if it gets a little scratched up or a little bit worn, and it's not going to be hanging outside. So that's my thought process behind it. We're going to glue these together, and I should have had this. I'm going to use Quick and Thick because my stick fast is, anyway, my lid is not, my lid got clogged. So you can see that this has got the old letter on the back of it, but that's the side I'm going to use because I want this for an Americana piece. And I'm just going to line up those holes, give it a little pressure, make sure that it's not crazy looking, and then I'll put on the star. Now, Quick and Thick as well as Stick Fast like it when there isn't a ton on. So you don't want to have a super heavy coat of glue or a super heavy puddle of glue. It will start migrating on you. And I like these to be a little bit crooked. I don't want them to be exactly straight on here. Again, if I do that on purpose, then nobody's going to say anything because all three of them are different. The other thing that I was thinking about doing, and I didn't do it even though I had thought about it, is I was going to use a little bit of twine or fabric to go around the little, that one I don't like with it, to go around the star before I glued it down. So hold on. This is my pair of scissors that I have pretty much ruined. Okay. Let's see if I can do this now after the fact. I think this will look cute though. So if you put fabric down, well, we can put it that way if that's where you want it to be. It's kind of arguing with me here. And my idea is that you can tie this, stick it down with a button or a rusty star, and then trim it. So you could do that with jute. You could do it with, string. You could leave it the way it is, but I just thought it would be cute to do it that way. I thought a bow might be a little bit fussy for something, you know, like that, especially since I was planning on doing the Americana on, well, the lettering on there and stuff, and the messy bow on it when I got it all taken care of, when I got it all finished. So, but I can put the wax on when I'm done. So let's get these two on here. How are we doing on time? I got 10 minutes. There we go. Line those little puppies up. One of these. We're going to put the fabric on this time beforehand. And I like the strings. Some people don't. So you are responsible for yourself, and that is just fine. Everybody gets to make their own decisions. So we'll do it this way. Push down. And you might want to weight these down too, just because. And I'm going to set that off to the side. It can set up. And my plan is already changed because I was going to letter on each one of the stars. But I changed my mind. I think it would be too, it wouldn't fit real well, or the letters would be too small. I was going to put God Bless America, and then at the bottom, my home sweet home. But I think that that would be a little bit hard to get all of that lettering on the stars themselves. So I'm going to let that marinate. I don't know exactly what I want to put on. And it might be that, but in another way. So I'm going to put that down there. And once I get these waxed, then I will tie it and put a bow on that one too. I think that would be really cute, or with a rusty star. So what do you guys think? Do you think a rusty star? Do you think a button? What do you think? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Let's see here. I'm liking it too. I think it's fun. Hi, Burl. Okay, so now, remember in your kit, you're going to get a little, you're going to get a little piece of jute. You'll get some beads. So you have some choices here. What I thought I would do, and I have to be careful here because this glue isn't dry, but what I thought I would do is now put these pennants on here, but let me show you what I'm thinking for the placement. I want these little holes that are on the outside corners to hang over the edge on both sides. That way, when these are glued down and dry, when I do my beaded hanger, I'm going to anchor them on both sides to put that beaded hanger, and so it's not going to be on this board because this board does not have holes in it. And plus, I like the fact that these are a little bit further apart. So that's got an opportunity for you, because you could have them just like this. You could maybe put lines, you could paint lines between them like they're attached. Probably nobody would notice if you didn't have them attached. You can use some of that jute, tie a little bow together. You've got some choices here, but then you'll put your beaded hanger on, and then we'll put some sort of lettering on here. I will figure it out for Tuesday when I present this again, and before I put it on the Caboodle Doodles page. But we've got the majority of it done, and we just have to figure out what our stuff is going to say down here. I will sand the edges of this, so I can do that right now. I'm going to get this a little squeeze because it felt like it was coming apart. But I don't want to mess with these too much until they're dry, and I don't want it at an angle. There we go. But I think that it will be cute. And I was I was tickled that I could come up with a way. I know that you guys are probably the same way. I have quite a few of these, not a whole bunch, but still, I don't want to throw them away or anything like that. And I'd rather do something else cute with them, and I think I found something else pretty cute. So I love this. So I'll give it a little bit of a sand on those edges. Also, it will help me if I've got some paint over the edge, and it's mostly on the ends where we have that peanut butter effect that I was talking about. Like here, where I've got that over paint stuff. So if I make sure that I kind of concentrate on that as I'm sanding those edges, I may not have to touch it up at all. There we go. I think it's fun. Thanks, Lisa. I think it's really fun. You love this? Yay! Yay! Well, there was a good response from you guys when I did the mitten one with the messy bow and such. So I think this will be cute with the beaded hanger, with the muslin that you can put on the messy bow. I will take pictures of it, and again, in the video, you'll see the whole thing. Oh, thank you, Lorraine. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I'm glad you guys like it. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like it. I think it's going to be fun. My dad was a Marine, and he was very proud of that fact. And every year on the Marine Corps birthday, he would call and sing the Marine Corps hymn, and he wore something that was Marine Corps every single day, whether it was a belt, whatever. He had something on that had that insignia because he was very proud of it, and I was raised to be very proud and patriotic. So when it comes time for this stuff, it's just my heart. It's just where it's where I live. It's where I love to be. But I think it's pretty cute. I love the colors. I love that it's a little bit worn, and there is a joke in our family, and since I have a couple minutes, I'm going to tell you about it. It's not really a joke, but it's a story. So I live a block away from where my grandma and grandpa lived for 57 years, and my dad grew up. And next door to them, there was a woman, and her name was Margaret, and she had a lot of things to say about a lot of things, and probably not the opinion of most people. And so when you'll be saying 4th of July, that's great. Yeah, that's perfect. And so when she would get upset about something or think it was just terrible, or she saw something, that she didn't agree with, she'd say, well, let freedom ring. And so in our family, when somebody does something that's just pushing the envelope a little bit, it's let freedom ring. And so when you see that on any of my projects, you'll know that I'm thinking about Margaret and her quirky sense of humor and personality. So I don't even know if it was a sense of humor, but it was certainly a personality. So, well, you guys have a wonderful time. Lori's going to be up in just a minute, and I will be on later. So make sure that you go out, refresh your page, and come back in. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to Lori for putting all of this together, and I can't wait to talk to you tonight. So have a good evening. Get something to eat. Get up, stretch after Lori's thing. And then we'll see you tonight. So I'll talk to you soon. This is Lizbeth Stahl, Cottage Caboodle. See you soon. Bye.